Welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. I'm your host this time, Hunter Moeller. I'm joined here by Alex on the ones and twos here, and my trusted partner in crime, Andy. Andy, how are you doing today? Andy?
I'm doing quite horrible, Hunter. Thanks for asking. I'm at my home. I've been sick for 3 days. I've got a bad cough and a temperature, and I've got a doctor's appointment today at 3:15. So, but I'm here. I'm not 100%, but I'm gonna give it 100%, and I am going to finish this episode with you, our Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk family.
Hey man, we're just glad you're here. Hey, have you been over to Fairway to get some meds or what?
No, I got some meds at Walmart. Unfortunately, I should have went to Fairway because let me tell you, I've been taking cough medicine for a couple days. Hasn't stopped the cough. And I was actually just complaining to somebody today about how technology has made it to where the NFL can put little chips in people's pads so they can make those AI cartoon like Toy Story game they did this weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
They put chips in the pads, and then you can like make up this super techie football cartoon thing right as the players are running and twisting and turning. But somehow the technology of the drug companies for the last 30 years, they can't make cough medicine taste good. So
yeah,
I kind of wonder. Yeah, that's right. So I don't want to put anybody on blast, but I'm taking the Equate cough medicine. And guess what, Equate? You've been demoted back to toothpaste for me. I'll use the toothpaste going somewhere else from cough medicine from now on.
Well, we hope you're feeling better. But if you're tuning in here, we're sponsored by Fairway Food Stores. Get over there, get whatever you need, any groceries, anything like that. Andy needs some meds. If you're watching us here, you're watching us on Washington Live's Facebook. We're also on correct myself, Washington Live's YouTube. We're also on Washington Live Facebook, Fairfield Live, Mount Pleasant Live Facebook, and also Washington Live on Spotify. So those are all the places you can check us out. But well, we had yet another busy week, Andy, another busy Friday night. You and I were both on the road, I guess away from home, I guess you could say, where it's like that probably every week. But watching some another night of some Friday Night Lights football for our area squads, and we had some big games.
Well, I apologize for all the coughing I'm going to do during this. But I was at a football game for the Union coverage area on Friday night. It was Mount Pleasant versus Washington. Both teams came in really looking for – I'm going to sit up a little bit. Both teams came in really looking for a win. It had been a tough start. Mount Pleasant had not won a game. I'm also going to get this glare off. Washington had lost their last three, and in fact, Washington had played a kind of a bad one at Keokuk the week before. You kind of thought it might take both teams a little bit to get their offense rolling, but it didn't take Washington at all. Cale Williams ran the ball really well in the early in the game. Washington scored the first 28 and ended up winning this 42-7. The Demons scored the first two touchdowns were a pass on the first drive, 28-yard pass to Jayfred Espinoza from Logan McDowell, and then a 8-yard run by Cale Williams, his first of two rushing touchdowns on the day. It was 14-0, and Mount Pleasant had started to show that the defense could hold off Washington a little bit. They had a 4th and 5 at the 50-yard line. This was kind of the play that decided whether the game was going to be a blowout or whether there's going to be a little back and forth. But it was 4th and 5, so sorry. Washington was going for it at the 50-yard line. They ran this double reverse that ended with Mason Morgan, who's their leading receiver, checking a deep pass, a 50-yard touchdown pass to Logan McDowell, the quarterback. And he was pretty much wide open when he let it go. What happened was Williams came in on a little end around, got it handed off, and he just kind of flipped it back to Morgan. I'm doing hand motions as if you guys can see my hands, but you can't. He flipped it back to Morgan, who was kind of stepping back, and he chucked one. And after the game, Logan said he was just begging to himself, "Don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball," and he didn't. So he ended up with a 50-yard touchdown catch that made it 21 nothing. As I said, it was 28 nothing at half. Mount Pleasant's Peyton Walker scored on another fourth down. There were like 3 or 4 fourth down touchdowns in this game. He scored to start the third quarter, but that was all Mount Pleasant would get. So the 13th win in a row for Washington over Mount Pleasant in one of our better sports rivalries there in the sport of football.
Southeast Conference teams really going at it, and Washington's had some pretty big plays this season, particularly with Logan McDole and Mason Morgan, kind of in that quarterback receiver duo there. So they always seem to put on a show every week.
Crazy. The Zoom messed up a little bit, and like it froze, and then you started talking like an auctioneer for a while. not to the viewers, I'm sure, but that's what I heard.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Sorry if anything goes a little south on the what we're working with here, Beth. Here.
Oh, it's going south.
We're working. Yeah, I was over in Fairfield for probably the Trojans, toughest matchup of the season if you base it on the rankings. Obviously, they're in the Class 3A District 5 over there. Faced off against number 1 Williamsburg this last week here, and as you can imagine, it was a tough one. Obviously, Williamsburg last year, 2022 state runner-up. I'm in Class 2A. Raiders are rolling this season. They win this one 56-14 over Fairfield. Really early on, Fairfield kind of hung with them on that first drive there. The Raiders end up going 60 yards and 13 plays and scored on a 16-yard touchdown pass from Kellen Cockrell to Derek Weiskopf. But twice, Andy, the Fairfield had the Raiders at fourth down on that drive, and just couldn't get a stop to get them off the field. And after that, a 3-and-out by Fairfield. Williamsburg scored again. Cockrell got injured. He's kind of their stud quarterback that everyone's talked about. He got injured, so Weiskopf came in at quarterback, and he connected with Braylon Wetgen on that next drive. 63-yard touchdown to make it 14-0. And then Fairfield once again looking good, kind of on this on their second offensive possession of the game, or third offensive possession of the game. Went just around 20 yards, got inside the Raider 30 there, but pick 6 by Weiskopf, 77 yards the other way, put them up 21-0. And they scored again on their next drive after a 3-and-out by Fairfield. Well, actually, that next possession for Fairfield was another pick 6, so that made it 28-0. And then after that, it was kind of a back-and-forth battle. We saw 3 straight punts there, and then the Raiders were marching again. And Lucas Koskol picked off Weiskopf on the Raiders' next possession. It was kind of the craziest play of the game. We were on, I guess, Fairfield side of the field where Williamsburg was coming towards us, and Koskol picked it off in the middle of the field and ran it all the way down the other end. And he got just to like the goal line, and he fumbled. He got stripped from behind. And then the ball kind of rolled out, and Bode Hoskins was just hustling right next to him, recovered it in the end zone for the touchdown. So that made it 28-6 after the mixed extra point there, with 4:26 to go in that half. But after that, it was all Williamsburg. After that, they scored 14 total in that second quarter. That was kind of highlighted by a 77-yard touchdown run. That as the half ended, they scored that 77-yard touchdown with literally 1 second on the clock. Before halftime. So they led 42-6 at the half, scored 14 more in that third, 56-6 heading into the fourth, and then Fairfield was able to score with 3:17 to go. Wyatt Johnson ran in from about 5 yards out, and a 2-point conversion from Sam Wheaton to Hoskins, brought the Trojans to 14. But in the end, number 1 team in Class 3A stays undefeated and keeps rolling, so.
Yeah, that's something with our 3 big schools. Apologies. Mount Pleasant, Washington, and Fairfield is the schedule doesn't get much easier down the stretch.
No.
Sorry, I was going to say, Fairfield already played number 1 Williamsburg. They got They got
They already
what?
played
South
Benton.
Bama, Solon, and Grinnell left.
Yep. And they
So,
already played Benton, who's just outside the top 10 of the rankings, and gave I believe they played Mount Vernon last week and gave them 2 overtime games. So, or not Mount Vernon, maybe it was Solon actually. I think it was Solon.
Yeah, Solon's been a team that I've had in my personal rankings. I guess we'll be talking rankings here on the second break. Yep. But for the last like 3 weeks, and they haven't actually showed up. Kind of like I barely have showed up to this this episode. But I haven't read your story yet, so I'll be surprised as you when we return from commercial. But I'm excited to see if Solon's back in there. See if there's one more ranked team for Fairfield to take on here.
Right. And as Andy said, we'll be back here in how many minutes? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? Yeah, we'll be back here with some rankings, and Andy's going to go through some small school action.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
At 5 Star Community Credit Union, we want to help you lead a better life. We offer competitive rates and convenient appointment times for all kinds of loans: auto, recreational vehicles, home equity line of credit, holiday, and personal loans. We make it easy to build your credit and enjoy the good things in life.
We invite you to join 5 Star Community Credit Union. We are community-minded and member-focused. Come visit our locations in West Burlington and Mount Pleasant or online at 5starcu.org. Federally insured through the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
At Brown Shoe Fit, we pride ourselves on traditional sit and fit service that's been serving the Mount Pleasant area since 1952. At Brown's, we have shoes for the whole family. From kids to adults, we carry the finest footwear for every occasion. Whether you're looking for something for work, casual wear, or exercise, we've got you covered. And don't forget about our selection of safety toe footwear for both men and women. Come visit us 6 days a week and experience the best in traditional sit and fit service. Brown Shoe Fit, where quality and tradition meet.
Just around the corner, and what a better way to celebrate than visit 2 of Iowa's most thrilling Halloween attractions, Thresher's House of Terror and Midwest Haunted Rails. Brace yourselves for an unforgettable experience as you enter Thresher's House of Terror, filled with the spooky surprises at every corner. You'll encounter every nightmare you've ever had. And for a family-friendly Halloween treat, ride the Midwest Haunted Rails, screaming down the tracks in Mount Pleasant.
Iowa Union Sports Talk. Andy, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Just making sure we got it going here. We also had some small schools in action, small school football last week. Why don't you give the people a rundown of what's going on, what happened last week, what we're looking at?
Yes, I will. And while I pull that up, though, you guys couldn't hear me during the commercial break, right?
We'll get into that at the end.
Oh, okay. Because I couldn't tell if you guys or the audience could hear me, so I did some I did some commentating of the commercials just in
We
case.
could hear your beautiful commentary.
Yeah.
But they couldn't.
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
could hear the whole thing?
Yeah,
We can
Nice.
hear you.
couldn't though. The
But the
supporters
people
couldn't.
Oh, well, that's too bad. Anyway, technology. All right, let me go ahead and pop into the small school football roundup. That's the football preview that was about to click, but that's not true. All right, so this week's football roundup was highlighted by a couple of our better teams in pretty big games. There were actually district championships on the line. I heard a little birdie, and by the way, I'm backing up my computer because I can see on the stream that my head, the video that I'm getting, my head isn't as large. There's more stuff behind me, but so for the sake of the viewer, I'm backing up my my head a little bit here. Class 8-man District 6. If Winfield Mount Union beat Iowa Valley on Friday night, they were district champions. A little birdie told me that there were district championship T-shirts in the building, which the kids wore afterwards, because Winfield Mount Union 76, Iowa Valley 14. That is another team that has been in the top 10. Another really highly ranked, highly thought after team that Winfield has blown out. Cam Buffington 218 yards and 2 scores. Cole Milks ran for 90 and 3 more touchdowns. Jake Edwards not only threw a touchdown to both of his brothers, Abram and Max, but he threw 2 to Carter Lloyd. Dana Royer got Joe Petz from the Hometown Current got a great picture of Carter Lloyd hauling in one of those touchdown catches. Homecoming in New London, but it was Waco, 10th ranked going into that game in Class 8 player that came away with a win. And that's been one of our better football rivalries the past few years, but it's all Waco, 67-8. Loudon Housingay went for 78 yards and 2 scores, and John McLaughlin 53 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Trey Dicker also got in the end zone, and 3 touchdown passes from Clayton Miller in that one. For New London, Gavin Minky Bailey threw for 89, and Cale Westerbeck had 2 catches for 45 yards. Logan Franklin also caught the lone touchdown for the Tigers in that one. 10th ranked Sigourney Kyoto in Class 1A had a big game against Pella Christian in the district. This game was supposed to be a barn burner. A lot of people thought this would be one of the closest games on the schedule. Not so. 42-15 Sigourney Kyoto. Cale Clarahan went for 139 and 2 touchdowns. And Sawyer Stout, who passed for 2, he went 2 for 3, 81 yards, and both of those completed passes were caught by Cole Kindred for touchdowns. Pekin Oliver Highland 56-0. The Panthers continue to just kind of roll. One of our big, you call them surprises, honestly, with how much they're beating teams that they should beat and how close they're playing teams that were supposed to be at the top of the district. They're looking like a playoff team. I said 56-0. Will Adam ran for 193 yards and 4 scores and threw a touchdown to Robert Brown. Columbus, they've been putting up a lot of points lately. 70-14 over Louisa Muscatine. Put up 35 in the first quarter. Caden Amagon had 3 carries in that one. 3 carries. Went for 127 yards and 2 scores. Him and Riley Kalberg have had kind of those, that meme with Randy Moss where he caught like 3 passes and they all went for touchdowns and he had like 150 yards receiving.
Yep.
Columbus has had so many of those stat lines this year. And him and Kalberg have had a couple of those on the ground. Danville 46, Van Buren County 7. I thought Van Buren would stick with Danville a little closer on this one, but the Bears have looked really, really good. The Bears are probably going to be a playoff team too in their first year back in about 7 years. Eddyville Blakesburg over Cardinal 52-6. Tough road trip there for the Comets. And then Mediapolis 38, Mid Prairie 7. I thought that Mid Prairie would give Mediapolis a better game than that, but a tough one for the Golden Hawks. Hudson Ehrenfeld did run for 128 in that one, and Brady Weber threw for 135 and a touchdown, a 38-yard strike to Caden Koss. So a couple of, you know what? Something in common with those games and also the games we talked about, Hunter, is that we didn't have a lot of close games this weekend.
No, we didn't.
A lot of blowouts.
We're kind of as the
Yeah.
season kind of dwindles down here. We're it's crazy. It's already we got 3-4 weeks left, not including the postseason, and I feel like teams now are starting to kind of pull away, or show what kind of show what they're made of, or we're now getting a good idea where they're gonna probably place and go in the postseason. So
the 8-man the 8-man playoffs are starting in a couple weeks here.
I know.
So we're really close.
And talking about 8-player, we've got a couple teams in the rankings. This ranking story will come out online today, be in the paper tomorrow. But if you've looked at our previous rankings over the past couple of weeks here, not much has changed after week 6 action. Looking at 8-player, obviously we still have Winfield Mount Union in the Gazette poll, still at number 2. Gladbrook Rhinebeck still holding that number 1 spot there in the Cedar Rapids Gazette poll. Waco coming in still at number 10. Warriors down there. No one in Class A, 1A. Sigourney Kyoto. They moved up a couple spots 2 weeks ago. They were at number 10, then they were at number 8, I believe, last week. Moved up 1 spot after that big win you mentioned, and they are now sitting at number 7 in the 1A rankings. And then just looking at, we'll go up to 3A because, some of the bigger schools, Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, Washington. As we mentioned, we've got Williamsburg at number 1, same district as Fairfield over there. And then we've got, Benton's 3 spots outside the top 10. They were the number 11th team last week, and they played Solon real close, double overtime game this last Friday here. Solon coming in at number 7 in that one. Let's see who else we got here. We've got Mount Vernon, obviously Mount Pleasant, Washington's district. Mount Vernon coming in at number 4. And then we've got Davenport Assumption coming in at number 8. And I believe Davenport Assumption and Mount Vernon played last week. And I think Mount Vernon won that one pretty handedly. So nevertheless, looking at our big school districts here, there's some tough opponents that they've yet to play. And as we mentioned, Fairfield's played Benton and Williamsburg. Still will have to play Solon, and Mount Pleasant will still have to play Davenport Assumption. And so basically tough road ahead for the bigger schools there.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, for all the Winfield Union fans that are gonna say none of them have complained, so I of course wouldn't complain to us, but there are rankings that have Winfield Union as number 1.
Yep.
The Iowa Athletic Association, which if you weren't biased, are different. That's the rankings they're going to use for playoff seeding. Here for a second. They do have Union as 1 in Class A, man, and Waco's number 10, and St. Kyoto is currently sitting at number 9 in Class 1A for the Iowa Association rankings. We've been putting those in the paper, just the regular rankings, so people can see both, so people don't accuse us of snubbing the teams that will higher in our ranking or
So you're cutting out a lot, Andy, but tell me if this is what you said.
Not.
So you were saying that the Iowa High School Athletic Association has Winfield Mount Union at number 1 in their rankings, right?
Yes.
Everybody watching, Andy is cutting out. So with that note, we're going to cut to another commercial, and we'll be back talking about some volleyball, some big school, small school volleyball. We've got a big night of volleyball, and then we'll get into some cross country as well. So hang with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Hopefully we get Andy back.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
When you aspire to be a dancer, you are both an artist and an athlete. Your strength combines with beauty and grace seamlessly. Your efforts result in enhanced coordination, the ability to cooperate and compromise with others, and the confidence to perform in front of an audience. Not to mention the fun you will have and the lifelong friendships you will develop. We are enrolling now for fall classes, and we would love to see you shine like the star that you are. Join us for Dance and Tumbling at Stairway to the Stars. Please visit our website for online registration.
I am Melissa Westfall with Homegirl Realty. Heather and Charlotte and I have worked together for many years, and we have always had a vision to have a business together.
I'm Charlotte Howard, and the good news is we bring a very high level of experience. We have a combined 80 plus years of experience in this real estate marketplace.
I'm Heather Merrick, and Homegirl Realty brings a lot of things to the table. We have phenomenal communication with our clients, buyers and sellers, to make sure things are going smoothly and you don't have anything to worry about.
You good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just cutting out a little bit, but we've got a busy night of volleyball action. I'll be heading down to Fort Madison for the SEC first round of the SEC tournament. Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, Washington. Giving the fans some great games this season, and it kind of all comes down to this as it pertains to conference action. So, how are you feeling about this? What are you expecting? What are you thinking? Heading into some SEC tournament action. Andy, you there, bud? We apologize. Andy's lagging out. Andy's lagging out, so I don't even know if he knows what we're saying or not, but can you hear me now?
Oh wait, I see my face on the show.
That's the one thing we could hear you say, man. Hey Andy, turn off your video.
Okay, wait. Talk to me on the video.
Turn off your video, man. Now try talking. See, does that help your audio?
There you go.
There we go. I think maybe your video was lagging a little bit.
Okay, wait. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you good. You're not cutting out anymore.
I see that the screen just says Andy in big capital letters. I like it.
That's fine. We're gonna roll with it since your audio. You were cutting out so bad. No one could hear what you were saying.
That's okay.
But what I was saying, which you didn't hear any of probably, is that It's a busy night and some Southeast Conference volleyball action. I'll be heading down to Fort Madison for the SEC tournament, and I said, basically all it comes down to this for Southeast Conference volleyball action. And I said, what are you kind of expecting tonight? Obviously, our three teams have given us some great games, as well as the other few in the conference. So it's sure to be a good one, won't it?
Yes, and I would like to mention for people who aren't quite familiar with the SEC or how they do things, the Southeast Conference tournament is what decides who is the champion. The first time around that they played each other. Why am I talking with my hands? You guys can't see me. Anyway, the first time they played each other this year, that was all for seeding. So if you got last place in the regular season and you go, 5-0 in the tournament, you are the Southeast Conference champions. They'll play half of it tonight at Fort Madison, which you'll be at, and then they'll play the other half in Washington next week. Fairfield will be the number 1 seed because they have the best regular season record, but it's a round robin. And so it's everyone has the exact same amount of chances as everybody else. I can tell you they've been doing this for about 5 years. The first year it was won by Burlington over Fort Madison, I believe. Mount Pleasant has won a couple, and then Fairfield. Fairfield won last year. So the Union coverage area has won 3 in a row of these. We have 3 of the 6 SEC teams. It's seeded in a way where ideally the top 2 teams at the end will play for the championship, but that does not always happen. I just saw Neil deGrasse Tyson for a second on the screen, I think. That doesn't always happen, so we'll see. We'll see how it happens. It's a fresh start for everybody, so I kind of like the way the SEC does this.
Yeah, it's always kind of an interesting way. As you mentioned, it's like everyone kind of gets a second chance. Well, kind of a third shot at everybody, if you will. So looking forward to seeing what happens. It all goes down tonight at Fort Madison, and then, as you mentioned, next week they'll head up to Washington. Those 2 teams have kind of split it the last couple of years. I think the first round last year was in Washington, and the second round was in Fort Madison. Now the first round's in Fort Madison, and vice versa. So should be a good one.
Yeah, it should. And the Super Conference does a little different, and the River Valley does a little different. But the small schools will be looking towards postseason play here in a little bit after these 2 weeks of SEC tournament play.
Andy, that's great. We also had some small school teams in action over the weekend. We also had Mount Pleasant in action. A full story about that will be in tomorrow's paper online here in a few hours. But the Panthers finished third at the Northeast tournament up at Northeast High School there in Goose Lake. So check out the paper for more information about that. We had Columbus 3-0 over Lone Tree. We're just going to run through these. Highland 3-0 over Hillcrest Academy. Mid Prairie 3-0 versus Tipton. Golden Hawks been playing super well here late. Winfield Mountain 3-0 over Louisa Muscatine. Colfax Mingo 3-2 over Keota. Tough loss there for the Eagles. Wapello 3-0 over Waco. So a loss for the Warriors there. And then on Saturday, New London hosted their annual volleyball tournament. Walking out of there as the tournament champs is number 8 Mid Prairie. I mentioned the Golden Hawks playing super well. Their one loss came against West Burlington in pool play. West Burlington's number 15 in 3A. The Golden Hawks bounced back to defeat the Falcons 2-0 to win the title there. So big win for them. Let's see here. And then New London was also featured in that. Winfield Mount Union and Van Buren County, along with Mid Prairie, were all in the same pool there, while West Burlington, Notre Dame, Louisa Muscatine, and English Valleys were in their own separate pool. So, yeah, busy weekend, and that, the volleyball season continues to wind down here, and hence we're seeing some, obviously, Southeast Super Conference already played their tournament, SEC tournament tonight, the first round, and so the fall season's kind of going pretty quick. It's almost over now.
Yeah, it is. By the way, you had to go hard yesterday because I was out completely yesterday, but you had to get all those volleyball tournaments and cross country meets. You can't see what my name says. You had to get all the cross country meets Hold on. There we go. You had to get all the cross-country meets together. You wrote something about the Winfield Mount Union meet, right?
Yeah, that was in the roundup. Yep.
One thing I love about the Winfield Mount Union cross-country meet is they just blast music the entire time. It's the only one I know that does that, but they just go hard on the music as loud as they can. I think even when they hosted conference, they did that. One of the cooler things, they hosted at the golf course there.
Yeah, it was, it always is an interesting meet. And looking at the results from that, Winfield Mount Union took second. Mediapolis won the team title. Columbus was in fourth on the boys' side there. Colby Newsom ran to a third-place finish. Gabe Hemsworth followed in sixth, and Ty Scorpill 11th, Bowen Thompson 13th, Jacob Nelson 26th. For Columbus, Damian Vergara placed 8th. Waco was also there as well. Kieran Lugendis placed 23rd. On the girls' side, Columbus was 4th as a team. Iris Garza led in 11th. Ariana Vergara placed 12th. Leading WMU was Afton Wilkerson with a 23rd overall finish. And Jaina Isanta Villa placed 24th. For Waco, Justine Lynn was 34th. So busy there for the small schools. Just running through real quick on the Washington Mid-Prairie. Went up to Wartburg over the weekend for a huge meet, over 400 athletes on both the girls and boys side. We'll just talk about what happened here real quick. The Golden Hawk girls placed third overall, highest out of the Union area. Shocker, Danielle Hostetler takes the meet title there. The Washington girls finished 15th. Iris Dahl led the way there. And on the boys' side, Washington finished 17th. Mid-Prairie placed 23rd. Leading for Washington, you can probably guess who it was. It was Micah Reese, ran to a 4th overall finish. So nice little results there from a couple of our more exciting cross-country teams there. Hello, Andy.
Wait, sorry, I muted myself because I had to cough. That was totally my fault.
You're good.
I was saying, we're getting pretty close to the postseason for cross country. It doesn't feel like that because we're usually freezing by now, and so we went to a couple of cross country meets where we've had to bundle up in sweatshirts and sweatpants and stuff like that. Which I know the cross country kids like it when it gets a little colder anyway. Right. But I haven't had that quite yet.
No, we haven't. It's going to be hot.
Which is good.
It was hot the last couple of days, so.
Yeah, all you cross country kids, I know you guys like it to be cold, but us guys who just stand there with our hands in our pockets taking pictures of the camera, we like it to be 78 degrees and no wind. So
amen to that.
Yeah, Mother Nature's on our side.
Yes, sir. But it's 11:01. Usually we like to be done about 10:55, 58 maybe at the most. But thank you for tuning in today. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. Next week, hopefully, Andy and I are both feeling good, and we'll be here in person. So, once again, you've been watching Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. Get out to Fairway, buy whatever you need, get some meat. But from Andy, Alex, and I, we'll see you when, Andy. Oh, he's got it up there on the screen. We'll see.